Hey everybody, it's Mark Sebastian, your only option, and this is the Trader's Edge special edition. We just got a real quick one for you because we've got some huge things happening tonight and tomorrow morning. I want to walk through the 4 big things you need to watch over the next 24 hours and what to do about it. So let's dig in. And it all starts with SPX. Tomorrow, non-farm payrolls. Tonight, earnings in Apple, earnings in Amazon, earnings in Meta. These companies have been up huge. They've been the driver of the rally in the S&P 500, the absolute driver. So these are huge. We've already saw how Microsoft and Google being disappointed could cause the market to pull back. These 3 companies could definitely cause the S&P to have another bad day like it did on Wednesday. And then non-farm payrolls are going to be a huge deal. So let's start by looking at the 3 big earnings. Apple. All right, Apple is reporting on the first after the bell. Tomorrow, it's trading 186.50. The 185, 187.5 strangle, all right, which kind of embodies kind of how much they're looking for the underlying to move, is about 550. So they're pricing in, call it less than $7 of movement. I got to tell you, I think that's, I'm probably not going to trade that strangle, but if I was told I have to sell it or buy it, I'd buy it because I think that's probably not expensive enough. If you look at kind of the earnings analysis, a normal implied underlying move is about 3.8. They're only pricing in 3.5. So it is inexpensive relative to historically where they have priced earnings for Apple. All right, now let's take a look at our next big stock, which is Amazon. It's trading 158. It's up $3.50. The chart on this thing, I mean, outside of a 2-day spell on the 30th and 31st, this thing has just been rocketing straight up. It's having a big day on Thursday. And the way they're pricing these options, the 157.5, 160 strangle is about $9. You know, call it about a $10.25 move they're looking for out of Amazon. And historically, they price in about a 5.8. This one actually, these options are a little more juicy. They're pricing in a above normal implied move. So Amazon, you know, I might sell the Amazon strangle and buy the Apple. I don't know, but I mean, I'm not going to do either of those, but I want you to know that this one is starting to get pumped, and it is going to be another one that is a driver. Then finally, Meta. And this is the one that I think is really interesting. Look at this. The implied move normally is 7.5. They're only pricing in 6.2%. The options, with it trading right around 397.5, we're just going to use the straddle this time. It's got about a $25 straddle. So they're not pricing in a massive move on this name, considering it's up $7 today. Here's my take on these names. Look at the moves they've had. All right. Amazon and Meta look very similar. Apple, not as much. That one's been floundering a little bit more. All right. That one actually maybe does have room to rally. But Meta and Amazon, if they don't absolutely knock the socks off of this, I think you're going to see a sell-off. Similar to what we saw in AMD, in Microsoft, and in Google. All reported pretty decent earnings, but they'd run up so hard that they sold off. So don't be surprised if Meta and Amazon blow the doors off of earnings and are still down on Friday. Now, finally, non-farm payrolls. This is going to be another big deal, sets the tone for all of, I think, the rest of the month of Feb, and really the entirety of, I think, the rest of the quarter. They're pricing in a less than 1% move through tomorrow. The at the money straddle is only about $38.50. That is, think about what just happened with the FOMC, and now we have non-farms. This is, I'll say it one more time, way too cheap. So how do I play that? Well, a trade I might look at in SPX would be to maybe buy a put and buy VIX puts against it, or buy a call and buy VIX calls. The VIX term structure is still really, really tight. Only about 45 cents between the cash and the future. So we're in a spot where we could get a really big move, and VIX could make a strong move. We're up more than, in the last 2 days, we've been down 80. As I'm recording this, we're up 55. And they'll sell you a straddle that expires with these 3 big earnings and non-farms for $38. Keep that in mind, folks. Sometimes things get mispriced. I think that's what's going on in SPX. Speaking of SPX, our first 0 DTE Feb trade is likely to come out in the next 59 minutes. And 0 DTE January was absolutely awesome. We'd love to have you join me in 0 DTE Feb. I'm going to be talking about everything tonight. You can register for the webinar here, or just sign up for the class, or call my team 888-872-3301. I'm Mark Sebastian, your only option. This was the Trader's Edge.